Who remembers growing up with a stigma around tabletop role-playing games? For decades, popular culture has had a whack track record when it comes to weaponizing this hobby to bully social outcasts, whether for entertainment or just self-preservation. It's so obnoxious, and it directly contradicts a rich history of storytelling that's found in so many dope cultures, especially for Black people. Icons from authors and writers to musicians, filmmakers, and to no one's surprise, actors love Dungeons and Dragons. Fact. At their core, tabletop role-playing games are a storytelling experience between you and your chosen crew. Let's talk about the appeal, things you need to get started, and the endless worlds of possibilities that are waiting for you if you want to get into tabletop role-playing games. You're watching MisterBoredGamer, the hobbyist on a mission to make tabletop gaming more accessible to Black folks, inspired by blerds everywhere. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. Appreciate you for watching, and happy Halloween. Spooky. As with most tabletop games, it can be intimidating to face the bullying or social pressure that comes along with participating in the hobby. But times are changing, and games like the Wagadu Chronicles, which I covered in my last video, are showing how the industry is being shaken up by different identities and perspectives. Today, it's your turn to dive into tabletop RPGs and begin building your own worlds and the legendary characters that inhabit them. So, what is the appeal behind a massive industry powered mostly by pure imagination? In tabletop role-playing games, players have the ability to create a complete cast of unique characters with virtually no limitations. There are specific universes that you can use for your world or setting. And while Dungeons & Dragons fantasy style is the most common RPG setting you'll come across, there are others, such as the Sentinels of the Multiverse RPG, with superheroes and supervillains, and Weave, which contains itself 4 pre-developed settings, including Gloomies, inspiring a retro Goosebumps vibe. When creating a character, you have specific skills or traits that will define how you play your character. This is where role-playing really comes into effect. Characters will take on a life of their own through the game and the storytelling experiences. Characters with high charisma scores have more opportunities to talk themselves out of sticky situations. Characters with low intelligence scores may have a difficult time finding clues to solve puzzles, or learning new information without the help of others in the game. Players who want to take on the role of the Dungeon Master, or DM, can also try their hand at creating what's called homebrew variants, where you set the world and the rules yourself. Last year, during the 4th of July, a few friends and I set up a Harry Potter homebrew to introduce some new players to the genre using their favorite franchise. The flexibility and virtually endless possibilities when creating a tabletop role-playing experience is one of the things that has made them so appealing for generations of gamers. Another great quality of tabletop role-playing games is how easy it is to set up. Even with all the fancy accessories and miniatures, you can get by with just a few dice, a pencil, and a notepad. You can even have a mixed game with adults and children, which would probably make for some pretty hilarious and unpredictable storytelling outcomes. The current system for Dungeons & Dragons, also known as 5th edition or 5e, is one of the most popular ways to play tabletop role-playing games right now. 5e revolves around a D20 dice system, meaning most of your actions and events are resolved by rolling a 20-sided die and adjusting the outcome using your character's skills or expertise in a specific trait. If my character here wants to attempt to repair this busted cyborg and program her to fight by his side, the DM will decide how difficult this task might be. Then I, as the player, would roll a d20. If my character has any background in science or technology, I may get a bonus to add to the result of the dice roll. On a low roll, the cyborg may malfunction and begin to attack me and my friends. On a high roll, I could succeed and gain a new friend, bringing a new element to our storytelling options. With the wealth of source material, there are many more detailed rules and mechanics that your DM can choose to include in your game. But all of these choices are best for your full group of players to decide together as a team. This will help you decide how flexible or difficult you would like your experience to be. Do you want to become heroes of legend who can fell entire armies with the flick of a wrist? Or would you like to engage in deep, thoughtful conversation with the characters that you meet throughout the story? The only way to make the most out of a tabletop role-playing experience is to make decisions together as your characters in-game. And that's just the beginning of your group storytelling experience. If you want more background on different worlds and settings and the lore that come with them, creating characters, establishing origins, or gearing up for your first tabletop role-playing experience, let me know in the comments below, and feel free to connect with me on Instagram @MisterBoardGamer. As always, appreciate you for watching.